Tonight we celebrate the launch of the book, The West Cork Rally, A History, written by local man Kevin O'Driscoll, who grew up with the sounds of rally cars reverberating around his door on most St. Patrick's weekend. The American author Ernest Hemingway once said, "There is nothing to writing. All you do is sit down at a typewriter and bleed." Well, I think for the last 12 months, 15 months, Kevin probably had the need for a few transfusions. But to show that he survived, please welcome and show your appreciation for the author of the West Cork Rally, A History, Kevin O'Driscoll. Kevin, take a seat and a well-earned rest. And I'm sure, you know, tonight is the first night probably, or maybe a week ago, that you can go to bed and you don't say, well, that printer will be on to me in the morning. There is nothing in Dropbox. Oh, but I put it in there. And you're trying to buy time. A relief that it's over, I'm sure, firstly.
Yeah, it is. I mean, like any project, it's, you know, you do go, you enjoy it and everything else, but it comes to a point where you feel you just have to, you know, you have to kind of, it just gets to a stage where it becomes more work than work itself in some respects, but still there's great satisfaction in just saying, yeah, it's finished and, you know, and it's there now.
Caroline, Maeve and Connor, I'm sure they'll have their respective husbands and daddy back rather than knocking the door. No, I'm busy. I gather there's a good few rooms to be painted and there's a lawn to be tended, so you'll be a busy guy for the next few months.
Well, the lawn has been done already twice since the book stopped, so obviously there was a bit of neglect going on around the place, but yeah, it is. It's nice, you know. I mean, Caroline herself isn't into rallying. She likes her cars, not much into the rallying, but my children were taken to their first rally soon after the book was finished, so I think maybe I've been on the wrong road already.
Your mum and dad, Paddy and Peggy, I think it's your mum that actually introduced you to rallying. You can tell the audience how that came about.
Yeah, basically the Cork 1976 started in Dunworley, and I was 3 years of age and I was brought up top of the lane and fine Sunday morning, thought no more of it at that age. And next thing, it was turned out to be a Porsche, and as you know, the Porsches of the 70s weren't exactly quiet, so I think after the first 2 or 3, I think I demanded to be taken down the lane, and I didn't want to go back, and that was it. And they tried again about 2 years later at the West Cork, and I hid again, and I hid under the bed, I think, 3rd year. And I convinced myself that I would go to 4th year, which is Trugumna, and I sat up in the rocks. I knew nobody could get me, and that was fine, so I was happy then.
This book, I had a sneak preview of it earlier today, and as well as being a huge publication, it's also a fine publication by Walsh Printers, and particularly the graphics in it are very pleasing, because quite often as well, when you do the hard work for a book, your work is dependent then on a good printing team and particularly a good graphic artist, and I think you were blessed with both.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that, because to be fair, when you're starting out your first book and you have an idea of what you want in writing, but maybe not so much in the graphic side of things, you're reliant on them and maybe to come up with some ideas. And to be fair to Marison and Robert, they pretty much the first thing they did looked good, and we kind of went with it. We tweaked things along the way, but to be honest, they did a fantastic job, absolutely fantastic.
It was a dream for a long time. You probably had a lot of stuff yourself, but then suddenly, something like 15 months ago, reality dawned, said, right, we're doing this. What was the first aspect that your research into it, or where did you go?
Well, what happened was I had some old programs going back over time, and the late Justin Hoolan used to always have a display of programs in the bakery out in Clonakilty every rally. And I remember one year I went in and I asked him, did he have any spares? He said, look, you can take the lot, I don't really want them. So I got them from him, and then over time I made contact with Dick O'Brien, who gave me a fantastic archive of entry forms, everything going back to day one. And Sean Campbell dug up some results for me. Different people, you know, have contributed along the way. And as I was gathering, I remember Jerry Murphy said it to me, you should write a book. And Jerry said it to me for 2 or 3 years, and I kept saying, yeah, I'll write a book, but there was no more about it. And then Darren got decided, and when Darren does something, it happens. There's no kind of, he won't let you do anything else, but you have to do it, and that's it. And he ran it by the club, and they said, yeah, that's a good idea. And I suppose that's what I needed, as a bit of a kickstart to do that, and I had the information.
The text was one thing, the photography was another.
Yeah, and I mean, I was very lucky, like Fergus McAnallen, for example, had a huge archive brought away from Colin Taylor Productions, and then, including yourself, there was a huge amount of help. I mean, to be fair, I don't think there was anybody who refused to help in any shape or form. We have 26 different photographers, unfortunately some no longer with us, late Joe Lane, for example, now, and thanks to Graham for that, and Father Jim Walsh as well, obviously, late Father Jim. You know, but everybody was so supportive, you know, even through the club, from results to anything you needed, they had it there for you. There's no waiting for anything, and that's probably what helps in making the book more comprehensive.
any figures I've asked you in the last while, you've usually come up with them. Approximately how many photographs in the book?
I'd say on around 1,000, maybe a little bit with it.
From a volume of, what did you have to pick from?
36,000.
Yeah. So that, I mean...
And I think... And to be fair, Martin, that is from contributions from the likes of yourself and all those that would have multiples to give as well, so that all helps.
Well, I must say, rather than from my own aspect of it, Kevin used to ring and I used to try to put him on the long finger, because usually I was writing something for the Examiner, the Star or whatever, and there was some other rally and whatever, and at the end it was actually much easier to give Kevin, look, there's the whole lot, take what you want out of it, rather than me trying to pick. And probably that made it easier that you had, you know, if you have somebody's volume of work, then you can pick what you want.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I suppose of the 26 contributors, I probably had half of them would have been full contributions. I'll give one example. Just in England, Tony Large took photography back in 1979, supplied the programme in 1980. And I rang him and emailed him. He said he didn't know if he could find him anymore, but he did. And he posted them on a Wednesday. I got them on a Friday. I had them scanned over maybe a week, and there was something like 25 rolls of black and white, fantastic stuff. That has, for example, like Jerry O'Malley doing his first ever West Cork rally back in 1979. You know, that stuff is invaluable to have.
And he's still going strong.
He's 32 rallies later. Yeah, it's great.
But you know, there's a tremendous amount of nostalgia in the book, and the one thing that struck me today, and I suppose, you know, us in the media, sometimes we criticise Motorsport Ireland, but we also give them their due when it's due. And I think the one striking thing that comes out is when you look at junctions 20, 30 years ago, there were just a wall, a sea of people. And nowadays, it's tape, you know. Okay, from a photographic point of view, I can tell you the one I prefer, but we've made huge strides in safety. That's the one thing, you know, that you'd even look from the images in the book.
Yeah, you can, and it's very obvious. You know, it was actually harder to pick out a photograph in modern times that didn't have tape in it, as you know yourself, because I take photographs. But obviously, the safety aspect is different, massively different from 1977 or 78.
The other aspect of that then would be, and it's an abiding memory I have in Union Hall of the rally, of Donny Keating in his shirt sleeves. You know, I mean, there's probably some people in here think that rally drivers were born with racing suits. You know. But guys used to roll up their shirts and just away with it.
Get on with it, the shorts and jeans, yeah, and that was it. Don't worry
And
about it.
dare we say it, even some of them before rally took a little small bit of liquid to give an extra pep in their step, you know, and the Sports Council weren't even around then, you know, so I'm sure they've had great fun in those days.
I say that was all, and that's part of the charm in some respects, and some of the stories that people have told in the book. I mean, it wouldn't pass these days, but that was the making of the stories for it, you know, some really good stories out there.